All set. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Verona Town Council meeting on July 6, 2026. Madam Clerk, can you please read the Open Public Meetings Compliance Statement?
The notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act has been satisfied with respect to this meeting of the Township Council. Specifically, the time and date were included in the publication of the annual meeting notice. The public notice and meeting agenda was posted on the municipal bulletin board at least 48 hours preceding the start time of this meeting. The agenda and meeting documents can be viewed online at veronanj.org/council meetings. Please take notice that pursuant to NJ Public Law 2025, Chapter 72, the complete text of each legal notice of the Township of Verona, including all public entities under the authority of the Township, may be obtained or viewed by the public on our official state registered webpage, veronanj.org/legal public notices. A public comment period will be held in the order it's listed on the meeting agenda, and instructions on how to comment will be provided at the appropriate time.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So at this time, we have a new council person on board after we brought him in last week, Councilman Shore. And at this time, we will bring him forth and swear him into the public. Who's more excited, Daddy or something?
So hold the book up. So put your left hand on the book and put your right hand in the air and repeat after me.
Sure.
I, Corey Shore,
I, Corey Shore,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same
and to the governments
and to the governments
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
and the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully
impartially,
and impartially
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the position of
the position of
council member at large
council member at large
for the Township of Verona,
for the Township of Verona,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me.
So help me God.
There you go.
So help me God.
Good.
With family.
Yeah.
Sure.
We'll take a picture. Come on, Max. Come on, Max.
Oh my gosh, look who it is. Max. Hey, Max. Ready? One, two, 3. Nice. That was a good one.
Okay, I'm gonna try. Come on, that was not.
Is that right?
It's fun. You ought to be in pictures. He wants to be on film.
Yeah. I have
Since the roll call is next, we're going to wait a couple minutes. It'll be quick.
Yeah.
Oh.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilman Shore.
Here.
Councilwoman McGrath. Here. Councilman Roman.
Here.
Deputy Mayor McAvoy.
Present.
Deputy Mayor also present tonight is Township Attorney Brian Aloya, Township Manager Kevin O'Sullivan, Deputy Township Manager Michael Kraus, and myself, Municipal Clerk Jennifer Kiernan.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Would everybody, if you can, please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. At this time, I will just welcome again Councilman Shore and like to thank everybody for joining us for the ribbon cutting at Everett Field. It is complete and it's being used and the facility looks fantastic. I'd like to thank everybody who came out for the event. There were so many, I'm not going to mention them all in light of time tonight. I would just like to put a special thank you to the Verona Rescue Squad for getting there early because of the rain and setting up tents for us so we can do the ribbon cutting under the tents and move forward. Thank the staff for our fireworks display and all they did to prepare for that last Wednesday. And thank everybody that came out in the extreme heat, our recreation committee and everybody involved there, Public Works, Verona Rescue Squad, Fire Department, Police Department, our staff at the Rec Department, and our director up there also, Pam Prisco. Thank you very much for your staff and all you did. It went off. It was very well attended. Over the last week, I'm going to do a special thank you to our first responders. Last week was brutal. Wednesday was one of those nights. Thursday was another day. Around the state, it's been a tragic week. I know 19 or 20 people passed from the heat. So the first responders are out there with those people trying to protect them. So I thank everybody that worked last week and helped out and got us through. It was a very, very tough week. But hopefully those were the worst days of this summer coming up. And at this time, I'm going to call up our county liaison, Mr. Coltrane, for your report.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Councilman, congratulations. On behalf of the County Executive, we only have a few things. I'll be short. But I'm also going to bring our commissioner up here in this district, Commissioner Luciano. Come up and bring your greetings from the Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Jay Coltree. What I will say is congratulations to our newest council member, Corey Shore. I know we had a nice conversation last week. Congratulations to you. July, so we had our June primary. Congratulations to Councilwoman McGrath, who is now a nominee to become a commissioner in Essex County. I think that's a great accomplishment, and I look forward to serving with you. We know you'll be successful come November. Former Mayor Jack McAvoy, former Mayor Alex Roman, town manager, attorney, to all our folks, Jen over there, hello. It's good to see everybody again. Verona is one of the 11 municipalities that I've represented since 2011. I will say very few times do I get calls about folks that are disappointed or upset with the local governing body. So that's a testament to the hard work and the fact that the township is moving in always the right direction. Because some of the communities I represent, I do have emails and phone calls quite often. I do know that you guys invited me. You said to the updates on the upgraded park that you just opened up. I apologize, I couldn't make. But as you know from our liaison, Jay Coltree, our county executive is always devoted and dedicated to parks. We have one of the best, if not the best, park in Essex County with Verona Park. Residents, not just from this community, but up and down West Essex and the neighboring communities definitely enjoy that park. And if there's anything we ever need to do in collaboration or do better, please bring it to our attention or to Jay's. And again, This is your night, Corey. I know that you officially were sworn in already, but this is, I guess, where the rubber hits the road. Best of luck in governance. I also see our Board of Education member right back here. We also know that that's a very thankless job. So thank you for all that you do. Sometimes, we do need people to stand up for elected office. And tell you, the Board of Education, along with the council, is not easy. It always starts at the local level. So I'm happy to be here. And of course, I'm going to turn it back over to our this is, what? I don't know how you guys got so lucky because Jay Coltree is one of the most thorough, I'm telling you, directors we have in Essex County. And I can tell you how I know this and how you should know this. He heads up purchasing and finance. And you always put the person who's got the most common sense and knows right from wrong in charge of the money. And Jay knows everything about it. So if you guys locally ever need, to take a tidbit of advice, because I call him often. He knows where the bodies are buried and how to get the money.
No money. No money.
No money.
No money for Verona? Verona. Come on, Jay.
And Commissioner,
Guys.
thank you very much because you're always available and you always look out for Verona. And you're there when we need you and we appreciate it. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor and Mayor, I'm going to be short tonight. We have a list of events coming up through the summer concert series. There's one on July 22nd at Grover Cleveland Park. There's another one on July 21st at Cedar Grove Park. So citizens from the Township of Verona, more than likely, be my guest, attend. The other thing is July 11th to Saturday, July 25th. It's the Butterfly Tent Safari at the Turtleback Zoo at the educational program. And then for us, but I know I could use it, it is Wellness on the Waterfront. And on Monday nights, which it's raining tonight, and I doubt there are anybody, July 6th, 13th, 20th, and 27th, bring your yoga mats. They're having yoga, and I'm not that flexible, but we try our best. Then it's jamming on Tuesday night, July 7th, 14th, 21st, and 28th at 7 p.m. And then there's a full body workout July 9th, 16th, 23, 30, and the 30th at 6 p.m. And I know you have other presentations tonight. Any questions from the council? Comments?
Anyone? Thank you, Mr. Coltrane.
Like the commissioner said, whatever you know how to get in touch with. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you. And for members of the public, if you do want, I think these were mailed, Jay.
They were.
Did receive one in the mail, but if you want a physical copy of it, there is a bunch in the lobby downstairs. You can come and get it. Okay, moving forward to our manager, Mr. Sullivan.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I will be brief, understanding that we do have our two presentations tonight, but the one topic that I will give an update on is that on June 26th, we did receive proposals for the role of subject matter expert for our emergency services building. We will be reviewing them, and I'll be looking to coordinate potentially a special meeting to interview for the council to interview those subject matter experts at a later date. That said, I would ask the council to entertain presentations from DMR Architects first. We have Mike Pikowski from DMR Architects to present his work on our community energy plan. The plan has been drafted and circulated for the council. It's on the website, and we will be asking the council to formally adopt the community energy plan at our next council meeting.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Kevin. For the presentation, will someone else be operating the slides? Okay. I'll look towards you then to gesture to move forward. Thank you for the help. I really appreciate it. And thank you, Town Council, and congratulations. I didn't anticipate this in my presentation that I'd be congratulating a new member, but congratulations. And thank you for the public at large for the opportunity to present tonight. I'm going to be brief. Tonight, I'm going to be presenting the Community Energy Plan for Verona for the next 3 to 5 years. This process has been a year-long process starting in October of 2025, where we work closely with the town of Verona, including members such as Kevin O'Sullivan as the lead, Verona, Sustainable Verona, and Sustainable Jersey, as well as ourselves from DMR Architects. So the formatting looks a little off, but it could just be typically the top. I apologize in advance. The top is more legible in the PowerPoint presentation that I had sent. So if you have trouble reading it, I'm going to try to read. Yeah, I'm going to read the top titles aloud, just so everyone can understand them. So for tonight, we're going to be presenting the community energy plan, as I briefly talked about. The community energy plan really has three objectives to it. We look to the past to see what has been done and what is being done in terms of sustainable energy techniques and educating the public and residents of Verona on initiatives that are happening, the current objectives of the town, and the future initiatives, of which there are 42 initiatives, and Verona has selected 13 initiatives. The entire project, if we go to the next slide, there's a lead by the name of David Trost. He is not going to be with us tonight. I will be the honorary person representing DMR. He was a licensed planner on this project, and I am the project lead. We worked alongside, as I mentioned, Sustainable Jersey with this $10,000 grant. They were the ones in charge of initiating this grant, which helped fund this project. I work closely with Tracy Woods and Purnima Guapta from Sustainable Jersey.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. And as I had mentioned briefly in my introduction, the Township of Verona, including members such as Kevin O'Sullivan as the lead, as well as Sustainable Verona, and we have Carrie Bass in the background, who is also a big contribution towards these initiatives being selected and moving forward. I just want to thank you guys for the help with this. It really takes a team to make this possible. And in here, we have a brief overview, starting with the timeline of last year in October of 2025, where we first identified what initiatives we were interested in, we meaning the Township Verona and DMR architects alike, where then we move forward with selecting the 13 initiatives out of the 42, spreading across 7 strategies. So these 7 strategies then that are identified clearly in the NJBPU, we selected a diverse set of these initiatives so that we felt widespread offering across these 7 strategies. And if you'll notice in the 50-page report, which I have on my desk, and I'm sure you guys have received, strategy 5 is not included. And it's not included because there's state level initiatives that would have to be made, not necessarily township related changes. So move on to the next slide. You may also notice here, I'd just like to point this out. This was a topic that was brought to my attention. I just want to bring it to your attention. The census data that we have tonight is from Sustainable Jersey. It does not reflect the current census data that was done in 2020. So I just got off the phone this morning regarding which census data we should use as the data source. And Sustainable Jersey told me that we should use the current, most recent data provided by either the public at large or Verona itself. So those numbers that you see there, which reflect the household population, for example, the median income, that information will be updated as this is a draft presentation for the July 6th. The July 20th, we will revise those numbers. All the other figures that we will be presenting tonight will remain constant. That's the only one that will change. On the next slide, or next 2 slides, we will see we're point 1, which is looking at the past. And we're going to be looking at the total energy purchased by the municipality for both the electric and the natural gas. And you can see that most of these 2 slides, the heavy consumption comes from residential and commercial natural gas and electricity. So what does that mean? It means that provides the greatest opportunity for reduction in demand.
I did both while you were talking.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And if we move on to the community GHG emissions, again, this tells a similar story where the majority of the energy emissions that are used are from residents in the form of on-road vehicles. And in the next slide, we can see that there's a 77% energy usage for vehicles, including cars, trucks, and vans. And over the course of the 2019, we saw almost 55 million passenger miles going through the Township of Verona. For the next slide, In here, we have the existing electric vehicle infrastructure. In 2015, there was only 8 EVs, and in 2020, there was 81 EVs, which is a significant increase in the EV fleet across the township, which shows an interest and action being taken as far as the township of Verona goes. In the next slide, we just identified public EV charging infrastructure. Right now, we really only have some level 1s and level 2s that are identified on this chart. On the next slide, there's opportunity for a lot of this highlighted green or light yellow area is opportunity for rooftop solar that could be implemented. So you can see there's a lot of opportunity for solar to be put throughout. In the solar available capacity, you can see that there's a lot of kilowatts that are available for representing these dots, which all these sources, again, are provided by Sustainable Jersey or a PSE&G through Sustainable Jersey. On the next slide here, we have just some residential energy data where the median household income from Verona is $135,120, and the population, the percentage of the population in poverty is 2%. So the Verona, as it relates to other townships and municipalities in the state of New Jersey, is achieving a higher level of income and a really low level threshold of poverty within it. So we can see that there's plenty of economic opportunity for Verona to invest both in the residents, businesses, for more EV infrastructure at large, because they have the means to do so. In here, we can see this chart represents the highest housing unit typology by structure is the single family or 1 unit detached. In the next slide, we see the lifetime participation of the residential incentive program. The total completed projects were 200 to date. So that's a large amount compared to other municipalities, and as great start forward for Verona to move with increasing that number. In here, we've just identified the commercial industrial properties. This one doesn't really have much to it. In the next slide, we have the lifetime participation in commercial energy efficiency. And
Am I right?
I think back 1 if you can. Perfect. Thank you. And 25 projects were completed with that in mind. On the next slide, this is the format for which we took the work plan template and converted into this 50-page report. And on the next page, we can see these strategies, these 7 strategies that I mentioned. We selected 13 initiatives out of the 42. And you can see here, this is the widespread that we have captured across these strategies. And at a very high level, I'm just going to go through what the initiative is, what the priority is, and what the anticipated length is. In this 50-page report, it goes into much more detail about who is the key role, what other people are involved in this process, and what is the measure of success. So I would implore you to look at that document more thoroughly so you can get a full, more comprehensive understanding of what each of these initiatives mean and what the level of success means to this undertaking. So for initiative 1.2, to train first responders on EVs and EVSEs, it's a priority medium, and the anticipated length is 1 day every reoccurring 36 months. For initiative 1.4, to purchase alternative fuel vehicles, we can see that Verona, based on the previous information, has already taken the initiative of increasing their EV fleet to 81, I believe it is. And we're going to implore, this is a high priority, and the anticipated length is going to be ongoing. So they want to continue this effort all the way through. For the next initiative, initiative 1.5, to improve municipal fleet efficiency, the priority is medium, and the length is ongoing. Again, this ties in with the previous initiative that we saw. For initiative 1.6, install public EV charging infrastructure. There's plenty of infrastructure available and opportunity for this to be implemented. It just depends upon identifying those sites and moving with an actual built form of capturing the EV infrastructure in the form of, could be Tesla charging stations, for example. For the next initiative, initiative 2.3, train first responders on solar. This is a medium level priority, and they plan on doing this one day every 36 months. For the next initiative, initiative 2.9, implement renewable government energy aggregation, or RGEA. The priority is medium, and the anticipated length is ongoing. For initiative 2.11, support community solar as an outreach coordinator. Someone will need to be the outreach coordinator for this, and the priority is medium. Right now, it's identified as Sustainable Verona, and the anticipated length is going to be from 2026 to 2027. For the initiative 3.1, upgrade energy efficiency for municipal facilities. This could be the town hall, or it could be other municipal buildings. The priority is a high priority, and the anticipated length is 36 months ongoing. For the next initiative, initiative 3.2, residential energy efficiency outreach campaign. This can be done in the form of posting on municipal website, or to create any public listing through the library or some other means to inform the public on how to reduce that energy consumption, considering that they are the largest contributors to the total energy usage. Initiative 3.3, commercial energy efficiency outreach program. The priority on this is medium to low, considering that, again, the total consumption typically comes from the residential units and residents themselves, and the anticipated length is 2 years. For the initiative 4.3, encouraging benchmarking and commissioning for existing buildings, this priority is low. This doesn't really have a high priority, and its anticipated length is ongoing. For initiative 6.5, to conduct energy efficiency outreach to the community serving institutions, this priority is high, and the anticipated length is 1 to 3 months. So it's going to be, this one has not only a high priority, but wants to be done almost right away. And initiative 7.1 is the adopting energy storage policies. There are a number of grants out there which are available, and Verona could take advantage of it, not only for this energy grant, but it could be available for having additional funds through energy storage. One of them being the CPACE program, and there's a new legislation that's done, or that's in, which I'm just going to pull it up right now, which speaks to, let me find the legislation, sorry about that. The data centers legislation, which is slashing the next New Jersey program by half, from 500 million to 250 million. So that 250 million has to go somewhere, and it could be brought into energy initiatives such as this one. So by not only doing this grant, this $10,000 grant, does Verona have the opportunity for funding through this grant, but is qualified to receive additional funding through other initiatives, energy initiatives. And that's my presentation. If there's any questions or clarifications from the public, I just want to make a note to Kevin O'Sullivan told me that he will be receiving emails for the public to comment on this if there's anything that we missed tonight, so we can incorporate it into the final plan, which we hope to be adopted through municipal resolution on the July 20th meeting.
Right, that's correct. The energy plan as drafted is on the website, and there's requests for residents or anybody from the public who has comments to provide comments by a few days prior to, by the 16th, so we can have a final edit done before the adoption on the 20th.
Thank you, Mr. O'Sullivan. Mr. Pikowski, thank you very much for this. I read through the whole thing, and it's very interesting. I'd also like to thank Carrie Bass, who's our chairwoman for our Sustainable Verona, because she puts a lot of time into this. One thing, I know you're talking about public outreach, and she puts a lot of time into that. Yeah. And we had some pretty good response for energy efficiency audits on the homes. things like that. But I think moving forward, I like a lot of these ideas. And I think the town, especially vehicles, our vehicles sit all night long. If they're used during the day, they can charge at night. Where we put chargers, I think we should look at DPW garage for a couple of chargers up there and other areas. I know Verona Pool was mentioned in the one. If we do that, I think we should look at maybe putting it near the upper part rather than the lower part that's used for 2 months of the year, because we have the pickleball courts up top. And if someone wants a charge and they go in the pool, they can always park up top, just because I think it'd be used for the whole year up there, or more of other seasons outside of pool season. But we could talk offline about that when we get into the facts about it. But thank you very much for all your time, Councilwoman McGrath.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this comprehensive report.
Yeah.
So just to remind me and the rest of the council and the public, the purpose of adopting this plan, besides providing an incredible strategic roadmap for how we can achieve energy efficiency, is it also then, are we then be able to unlock additional grant dollars because this report is the foundation?
That's correct. Obviously, it does provide that roadmap for the township on initiatives we can undertake, but it also does allow us to more aggressively pursue grant opportunities and point to a planning document that also supports that initiative. So it can align us for grants more strongly in the future.
Okay. And what I'm really most curious about, and maybe it's an additional question that wasn't in the scope of this report, is the benchmarking of Verona versus similarly situated towns. So, I mean, what I was impressed with, like the bump up in EV usage, but then how do we compare to other towns of similar wealth and location in New Jersey, for example? So it's great that things are increasing, but are there some best practices? Maybe you've done some other plans, so you can speak to that.
I have done, for example, I have a couple of pages from the Prospect Park energy plan, which I had worked on. I would say that in general, going from a 5 to an 81, that number increase, I haven't seen that dramatic of an increase in EV fleet, including all of the energy plans that I've worked on. And so I would say
Great.
From a percentage basis, Verona has the highest percentage increase.
Okay, great.
Even though the numbers are lower,
Yeah.
but the percentage increase, it's a significant increase and shows a real interest in it. And something you had brought about, and Kevin spoke briefly on, is by doing this $10,000 grant, if you go on Sustainable Jersey's website right now, there's a $250,000 implementation grant,
Right.
which only is qualified through submitting this grant.
Yeah.
So by doing this $10,000 grant, you are then open to a $250,000 implementation grant.
That's great.
So it's the roadmap, and this is step one in that map.
Yeah. Well, the strategic roadmap is so important to everything that we do. So I just want to thank you for your hard work, and thanks Sustainable Verona for all of their hard work. I think wherever we can benchmark ourselves versus similarly situated towns, it may help to motivate both commercial and residential users to be like, hey, we gotta keep up. We should really consider this, because some other towns are a little further ahead, if that's indeed the case.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Picasso, real quick, how did you arrive at those numbers of EV sales? Or
The figures that we have here.
where do you get those numbers from?
So if you have the report in front of you, or if you don't, every one of the charts or data points that I have, I list the source immediately below it.
Okay.
So if there's, I will turn to that page now because I have it in front of me. So let me find that specific figure for you.
You don't have to. I can go back. And
Okay.
Definitely.
But
I have it right
just so
here
you're, because I figured that may come up. So right underneath of all of them, I put the source of where I got it from.
Thank you.
And typically it's directly from Sustainable Jersey.
Okay.
They provided most of the material. If not, it was PSNG through Sustainable in Jersey.
Because I wonder if we cross-reference that with our building department to see how many people got permits for EV chargers, we might get a higher number.
Yep.
You may.
Because not everybody. Thank you. Anyone else? Any other questions? We're good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. O'Sullivan?
Thank you,
Back to
Deputy
you.
Mayor. So again, we'll collect comments over the next 2 weeks, and we'll present the final report to the council for adoption at the next council meeting. Moving on to the next presentation is Chris Sotiro from NJ Future. He's been working with the township on our age-friendly study and age-friendly action plan. Chris, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I have some slides. I don't know if they're going to be on
Yep,
the
I'm
screen
bringing
or
them up in 1 second. Thank you.
I will say also before Chris gets started that the purpose of this study is very similar to the community energy plan in that it gives the township a very good roadmap of initiatives that we can undertake for age friendliness throughout the township, but it also does allow us to avail ourselves of more grant opportunities with grant programs that might align with initiatives and items in our action plan.
All right, so I'll just let you know if I want a next slide or.
Yeah, I'll try to
All right.
listen to your
Yeah,
voice.
sounds
comment.
good. Thanks for inviting me to speak. I was about to say this is going to sound pretty familiar in just the structure of what I'm going to be presenting on. But my name is Chris Tiro. I'm a policy and program coordinator with New Jersey Future. I am here in that capacity alone. And we have been working with the township since September on this initiative. And we can move to the next slide now. But New Jersey Future is a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization that promotes sensible growth and redevelopment in the state of New Jersey. We support things like transit-oriented development, walkability, redevelopment in the sense of not, paving over, forests and building housing developments, but seeing how we can incorporate housing in places that have already been developed so that we're not, adding to stormwater issues and flooding issues and whatnot. We can move to the next slide. So this grant comes from the New Jersey Department of Human Services. I think it's the fourth round of funding, if I'm remembering correctly, that they've done total for this. The Township of Verona was one of many towns that received this funding, and it was awarded in March of 2025. And the grant's purpose is to build community partnerships, evaluate the community and its needs for its older adult population, create an action plan based off of that needs assessment to become an age-friendly community certified by AARP. So I didn't incorporate this into my slides yet, but we have been officially recognized by AARP as an age-friendly community in their network of states and communities. So that leverages us better for upcoming grants, just as the previous presentation kind of hinted at. So that's going to be huge for, ongoing implementation funding, future funding to evaluate different services, to incorporate different programs. We can move on to the next slide. So the grant itself wanted us to focus on what AARP defines as 8 domains of livability. So this is a framework for which the needs assessment and the community engagement was trying to evaluate senior services. So those are housing, outdoor spaces and buildings, transportation, civic participation and employment, communication and information, respect and social inclusion, social participation, health services and community supports. And yeah, that's all of them. So we can move on. So why age-friendly planning matters. Verona actually has a higher proportion of senior residents compared to state averages, slightly higher, and that's expected to increase gradually over the next coming decades as the birth rate kind of stalls out for a number of reasons. Medical technology continues to improve. So making conditions better in our towns, making services better for our most vulnerable residents, such as seniors, people with disabilities, children, uplifts everybody, right? A rising tide lifts all ships. So the goal is to help residents remain healthy, independent, and engaged with the community, and not, trying to downsize elsewhere because it's too expensive or because there's not enough, community support or, health services. And we can move on to the next slide. So the project overview and what it looks like. I'm envisioning this with 2 phases. So the first phase, which was what we completed this year for the grant, which closed out on June 30th. is community engagement and capacity building. So figuring out what the problems are, diagnosing them, figuring out what kind of solutions we can incorporate, creating an action plan. And then the next phase after this, which the grant does not fund, but which we could continue applying for funding for and implementing some low cost or completely free options for implementation onwards. So this project started with community engagement, which funneled into the needs assessment, right? Figuring out what the problems are in the town as seen by the residents. Having a leadership team comprised of elected officials, health officers, different types of municipal employees, members of the community, volunteers, having them review, what the needs assessment found, what kind of, issues were raised, and figuring out how we can go about resolving them or improving on existing services, which then informs the action plan, which we've been presenting today and which should be in your inboxes, and then onward to implementation. So what we see as what has been accomplished so far, we established a leadership team, which can be dissolved, can be ongoing, however the township wants to continue with this, which can kind of serve as a review board for implementing the action plan and its strategies. We conducted the community needs assessment, which looked at a community survey that was promoted widely to the population. We also conducted focus groups, specific, one-on-one interviews and interviews with different civic boards. And that all kind of funneled into the final action plan. So I'll get into a little bit more about what the survey responses look like in the focus groups. Yep, you keep going.
Okay.
So we got 278 total survey responses between digital copies and paper copies. We had paper copies available at community locations such as the municipal building, the library, the community center, and we had a digital survey platform called SurveyMonkey, which was hosted and promoted through social media, through e-newsletters, mailers, community events. And I believe we had a dedicated laptop in the library for any attendees to fill out the survey there while they're visiting. And we had a very effective outreach strategy. Our goal was about 200 people based off of population data, so we surpassed that. So we had a pretty good sample size of residents giving their feedback.
If I may, really quick, Mrs.
Yep.
Karen, I did get a resident saying that they weren't able to see the slides on Zoom. I don't know if that's anything you're able to do anything about or not. Or if Jack, are you watching the Zoom able to check or anything?
I'm getting the same text, but
Sorry, if we can just hold just 1 second so our folks at home can see.
Go back.
Yep. Will that work? Okay, give me a second, I can fix it.
Jack's going to log in so he can check it as well.
Why can't I get it?
new computer. I haven't been on it. Okay. hold on.
Okay. See it now, Deputy Mayor?
Shouldn't be right now.
Stand by. Let you know.
You're good.
All right, we're good.
Thank you.
All right,
Sorry.
you can start.
All good.
You can get going again.
Yeah, no worries. So we held 2 focus group sessions. I think there was a snowstorm that might have moved 1 or 2 of them. So they were held in the Verona Community Center, and there was a number of residents that had some common concerns. Those were some information gaps around the senior bus and library services, something about like the schedule and the locations not being open enough. Yard work, so snow removal, lawn care. People express that they would like to see some sort of work for hire service or volunteer program where older residents who can't maintain upkeep with their lawn during different seasons could maybe hire high schoolers or something along those lines to receive some support. Difficulty using pay stations for parking, so people who want to visit Bloomfield Ave and go shopping on the main commercial corridor would just avoid it because they did not fully understand like the QR code scanning apps and going to the pay stations and wanting to see some sort of informational breakdown of how to use it. Senior bus locations, so doing some sort of audit of where people want to go rather than mainly just grocery stores or some other locations, or trying to expand some services to see if we can have some more drivers or more flexibility with the hours. And redevelopment project units not being earmarked for seniors. Some of these things are very limited in what the township can specifically address, but these were concerns that were highlighted by the residents. We can move on to the next slide. So in the individual interviews and in interviews with some of the civic boards, some shared concerns were that certain speed limits were not being enforced in certain parts of town. Again, doubling down on interest in snow removal programs, people not fully understanding different sources of information, keeping up with how times have changed. So not enough people knowing about the e-newsletter and where centralized sources of information are being sent out. Senior classes needing more topics. Walking clubs had a huge interest in different areas of the town, and establishing some sort of senior garden club. So the action plan that was written to kind of address some of these concerns and offer some strategies and main areas to highlight that came out of the needs assessment focus on two goals. So the first one is establishing a sustained age-friendly initiative in the town, so that the conversation doesn't stop here after the grant is over, that it continues to be a kind of layer of review for each of the committees and the town council to acknowledge when passing ordinances or resolutions or conducting the annual budget. So that looks like formalizing an age-friendly subcommittee that would fall under MIAC, integrating age-friendly planning principles into municipal decisions, expanding community partnerships, and pursuing grants and Sustainable Jersey recognition. There is one Sustainable Jersey action that pretty much perfectly aligns with the action plan that has been conducted, which would be super simple to continue applying for so that the township receives more Sustainable Jersey points. And the second goal was to remove barriers to aging in place that were highlighted by AARP, the 8 domains to livability. So there are short-term and long-term actions that are a range of low-cost actions, other actions that may require funding, other actions that just might require some restructuring of how we're already doing things. So we can move on. So the first area of focus is housing, and obviously there are some initiatives already going on with the fourth round affordable housing mandate. So some of the things highlighted were expanding downsizing opportunities. A lot of people felt that they were just being priced out of Verona, and that they, along with other things such as, home maintenance and lawn care and snow removal, and just not really being able to access, certain areas of the house anymore because of different, accessibility issues. Not having enough opportunities to downsize. They felt kind of limited in that they were, stuck in their large single family home that they weren't fully able to take care of. Promoting affordable and accessible housing. Verona's already, making strides in that direction. Increasing awareness of tax relief programs. A lot of people in our survey, there was a question about, what tax relief programs have you applied for? Have you received them? Have you not qualified? Have you just not known about them? A lot of people did not know about existing tax relief programs that are, issued by the state. Creating a home maintenance assistance program. So even if it's not, the township going in and fixing your staircase or anything, but connecting people with existing services, either private or county services that just offer a more centralized pathway for people to find existing programs and services that are out there. We can move on to the next slide. Transportation and mobility. So a lot of people that responded to the survey and came to the focus groups have been aware of the senior bus and the medical transport bus, were active patrons of those services. Some people just kind of expressed that they would like to see some more recreation opportunities, maybe going to the YMCA or, different gyms. But people felt very limited in that, there were a lot of, grocery store options. People felt that there wasn't, such a need to go to like a Parsippany, Trader Joe's or ShopRite or something along those lines. Improving awareness of transportation options. So for the people that do not know about the senior bus, that are more homebound and, less willing to be actively engaged in, driving down to Bloomfield Ave and, parking and trying to figure that out, making sure that they're aware that there's other options available, expanding destinations, supporting residents that are transitioning away from driving, and exploring partnerships and different shuttle opportunities. So this one, walkability, should really be walkability and safety. I combined a couple things, but conducting a community walkability audit. There was a lot of people that responded to this survey. A certain question asking about, do you walk from your home for things like, shopping or dining or groceries or recreation? A lot of people responded yes, depending on different areas of the town, but also felt that there were certain intersections that were unsafe, certain, crosswalks that people were speeding past, certain traffic lights that people were ignoring. So conducting a walkability audit, seeing where people are walking to, seeing, what intersections are dangerous, seeing where, sidewalks can maybe be improved, maybe adding some of those like solar panel, high vision crosswalk signs that kind of flash when you walk by. Adding benches and resting areas, addressing speeding concerns, strengthening winter accessibility, and improving emergency preparedness. We just had a massive heat wave. We also just had, a huge winter snow season. We just saw lots of flooding today. I believe around 20 people passed away due to extreme heat. That's going to become, a more common issue in New Jersey every summer. Seeing where we can implement cooling stations that are accessible to the public. Making sure that emergency responders and police and fire all, are aware of where homebound individuals are living, and if there's any sort of, power outage or fire, that emergency responders are aware of where those people are and can, prioritize them in evacuations. And just to reiterate, a lot of the major roadways highlighted by residents and respondents in the survey are, either county owned or maybe state owned, such as Bloomfield Ave. So there's a lot of limitations on what we can directly address on those grounds. However, this survey and its findings are, valuable data of what the community wants to see, issues that the community is having, and that those can be leveraged to the county and to the state for, future advocacy efforts. Communication information. So, there's a lot of towns that don't have great senior services that, we've worked with in the past. Verona is not one of them. Verona has a wide variety of different programs and offerings. And a lot of the findings that we've kind of noticed are that people are just not taking advantage of them because they're unaware of when the schedules are. They're unaware of what is, specifically being promoted and afforded to the community. So making sure that there's a central kind of source and hub for information for seniors. So a big thing that would be pretty easy to implement would be having a senior services fair somewhere in the public, maybe once a year, twice a year, where just the different offerings from the community are publicly available. People can come meet each other. Having booths for the county, having booths for the health department, any recreation services, that kind of thing. Having an age-friendly webpage so that the action plan is a publicly available resource so that the community knows that we are invested in making sure that conditions are improving for them. Printed resource guides, better promotion through partners, and having a single information hub. There was one question about where do you receive your information from, and it wasn't really just one overwhelming answer. People kind of receive information from a lot of sources because they feel like they're not really sure exactly where to look. And we can move on to the next slide. Lastly, just social connection. So a lot of people, again, feel like they are actively looking for opportunities that maybe align with their interests. So just expanding different opportunities and, having a variety of programs for recreation, wellness, establishing walking groups that might have existed, once before, but have been shut down for whatever reason. Educational programming, volunteer opportunities, intergenerational activities. and municipal committee participation, whatever that may look like, whether it's a subcommittee or, opening doors to more volunteer participation. And we can move on to the next slide. So looking forward to the next year, there's a couple of priority actions that we've kind of identified. So the first one would be establishing a age-friendly subcommittee of MIAC so that the residents who responded to the survey and noted that they would, like to be involved in future initiatives have an opportunity to do so that there's some community buy-in. Conducting a housing and downsizing assessment, launching a home maintenance and snow assistance program, conducting a ridership audit and improving the services for the senior bus and medical transport vehicles, conducting a community walkability and pedestrian safety audit, creating a centralized senior information hub and resource guide, expanding recreation, wellness, and social programming, improving and publicizing pathways to volunteer and civic engagement, increasing outreach regarding tax relief and financial assistance programs, and creating an annual age-friendly Verona progress report that the newly established subcommittee could, help feed into, just to make sure that these actions are being, monitored and that they do not kind of fall to the wayside after a number of years. So that is the presentation, and there should be the full action plan and findings from the needs assessment, which contains a full breakdown of what was conducted and each of the survey response questions and analyses. It's quite a long document, so if you ever want to kind of like look through and see exactly which questions people were responding to or maybe not responding to and what their answers were, that is available for you all. So thank you. And if there's any questions, I'd be happy to fill in.
First, thank you very much for your presentation. I'm just thinking as far as the overlap between, you talked a lot about walkability. Did you have any input on our streetscape plan on Bloomfield Avenue? Because timing is definitely, as you were talking through this, we definitely talked through the streetscape plan.
With Strands Engineering?
Yes.
Yeah, so we actually tabled at the fair in the square for Christmas alongside them. We shared a booth and we were kind of talking to residents about some of the things that, they were trying to incorporate and what, the community wanted to see. So we had an opportunity for residents to kind of address both of our initiatives kind of simultaneously. That was kind of still developing while we were doing the community engagement aspect of it. We launched the survey for the month of February into maybe early March, I believe. So not, all of their findings had kind of been, finished by that point. So we were kind of there for, early conversations, and we, tried to collaborate as much as possible.
Okay. And then as far as you talked about a subcommittee moving forward, I think we should be more geared toward, maybe we ask for volunteers from the public who want to be on a subcommittee that are in that age group that could give us, feedback for their everyday activities that they do. So I think that would just be the only thing I see here is as far as, a leadership, team that's age appropriate for that group. But,
yeah. And we have a list of residents who responded to the survey that are in that age group that expressed interest and provided their contact information. So that can be provided to you all if that's, something you want to go along with.
Great. All right. Thank you. Councilwoman McGrath.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for this very comprehensive report and action items. I was really excited to be part of this initiative, and to see it come to fruition is really wonderful, and to get the AARP designation on top. So I want to thank you. There's so much good thing. There's so many good things in here. One thing I just want to add is that our legislative partners, both at the state and federal level, are great at providing information on how to tap into some of those tax programs. So certainly when we think about implementation, like, they could be very helpful in those areas. And I know our Assembly and Senate partners in the legislature are starting to do this in other towns. And our Congresswoman also does a lot of things of that nature and tapping into energy programs as well, which ties into the other presentation. Verona is considering a complete streets policy, so I really appreciated all of the information on walkability. But I wanted to end with housing. it's just, from my travels around the county, which I've been doing lately, keeping seniors in their homes or in their communities, but in places that are more affordable is like the absolutely number one issue. Like, how do we go about that's, I think, the hardest thing to address. Like, do you have any thoughts about what you're seeing across New Jersey on that front?
Yeah, we're trying to encourage a lot of redevelopment projects throughout the state because every town has to comply with their affordable housing obligations. You can do that in a way that's accessible to older adults and people with disabilities, or anybody with those kind of limitations. Or you can do it in a way where people are detached from like the rest of the community. So we try to encourage a lot of mixed use development where people kind of have access to a lot of the services that they would normally need to drive to. So you can have apartments on top of health services and other kind of community services, and corner stores that provide groceries, or you could just have just straight housing, making sure that there's elevators and accessibility needs that people can have addressed. That's something that we really try to promote around the state.
Yeah, I think the issue is the price point, right? So a lot of the redevelopment, projects, 20% is affordable, 80% market rate. It's that market rate piece that, a lot of seniors, they can't afford that rent, but they don't qualify for the affordable. So they're kind of caught. So, yeah, well, for another day, I'm sure there's a lot of policy experts around New Jersey that are trying to work on that issue. So thank you so much for your insights.
Councilman.
I'll just want to say thank you. This is very comprehensive and very detailed, and I feel it's very specific about what our community needs. So I just wanted to say thank you for the level of depth that this went into. And sort of my ask to the township is that they do take this to heart and use this as a means of guiding the services and programming and meeting the needs of our seniors. This really is, there's a lot of great information here. So just thank you for the report and your presentation.
Councilman Shaw.
Thank you very much. I very much appreciate the report. I was part of the initial part of this initiative, and then our subcommittee for recreation, some other members were involved in it. So I appreciate their efforts and your efforts to make this happen. I've known a lot of seniors, whether it's in recreation or within the pool. They're great, fantastic people, high energy, great passion, totally engaged. So it's important that we look at our seniors and take care of them and implement some type of plan. My concern, and I've said this at the recreational committee when I was chair, is that currently right now our municipal budgets are very strapped. They're tight. So I think funding for some of these initiatives are really going to have to be looked at, and where we're going to find that funding to be able to initiate some of that, to make sure that some of the DPW or recreation, their funding that's currently strapped and providing services, that we're able to get them additional money so that this way they can provide some of those services as well. So, looking at the total community, we want to make sure that all of our services are covered, including seniors, including kids in our great rec programs, and all services that do snow removal, so forth and so on. But I think that's a key component. And I've said that from the initial part of it, is that we really need to make sure that with these initiatives, which they're great, and it's great to have wonderful policies just like this, but we need to fund it and make sure that we go about it in a very pragmatic and strategic way. So if you can, talk a little bit about that and maybe some funding ways or things that that you've seen in the past from other towns or other states, that would be greatly appreciated.
Absolutely. And like I said, now that we are recognized by AARP as having done this work and, putting in a significant amount of effort into understanding what the needs of the older adult population are, and creating a plan to address them, now we are in a much better position to apply for that funding. AARP has a lot of, social wellness grants and other grants that are specifically targeted for implementing actions that have been identified. And those are a little bit more frequent than at the state level. I think we're seeing some state funding kind of slowing down and drying up because of, having to fill in for, capacity with, federal cuts. So definitely looking at ARP and making sure that we're, tapped into that network. The town should be receiving, alerts and emails and having some conversations with the regional hubs for ARP.
Just one more question.
Yeah.
When you were when this was taking place and doing surveys, and when you're looking at the recommendations and implementation, did you look at any kind of cost analysis that would be a burden on the particular municipality, or what would be the actual overall financial picture that's required to implement some of these things? Was that part of that?
I don't have a full understanding of what the budget is for the township, but a lot of these are low cost, short term actions that kind of mainly just require thinking about things a little differently, or rearranging kind of how we prioritize information access at the township level, or shifting around services so they're a little bit more comprehensive. But like I said, a lot of these recommendations kind of fall into existing initiatives. Because they're not specifically always, only benefiting seniors. There, a lot of them for, walkability or transportation or public safety are a lot of things that the township is already, looking into, such as the streetscaping project. So I don't have, a full picture of what the budget is and, how much certain things might cost, but a lot of these are pretty low cost items.
I'm sure we can also get into it now that we have this full picture here. When it comes budget time, or when we're looking at, trying to implement these programs with administration and town council, we can try to look at the overall scope of the budget to be able to implement. So this is a great first start.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. O'Sullivan.
I will conclude my report unless there's any questions from council.
Question?
Hi. I do have a question. So you had mentioned something really quickly and then went right into the reports. So circle back on your announcement that you submitted bids for a technical expert for our public safety building. I'm getting some feedback from the public that they need an update on where the project is. There is confusion. And so I don't know if we can put out some information like from the public information officer on where this project stands. What has the council approved? What are the next steps? Because it generates, there's confusion. And so I think something needs to be said, and maybe an update. I'm sure there's a landing page and a website that we have already established for the emergency services building. So I think a short update is in order.
Sure, we can provide an update both on the website and through some sort of social media post, but just for the benefit of the council tonight, the subject matter expert RFPs were received on Friday, June 26th. There were 5 firms that submitted. We will be reviewing the qualifications of the firms and the proposals from the firms. We will circulate that to the council. We will look to schedule an interview process for the council to interview the subject matter experts to find a consultant that most aligns with the ideology of the council. At that point, that subject matter expert will partner with solutions architecture and understand the current status of what's been studied, what's been presented, the cost analysis that have been performed, and they will provide their expertise in this area to provide additional answers, provide additional thoughts or considerations to the solutions that we need to address on both police and fire. So that is where we are right now. So those interviews will hopefully be scheduled either later this month or sometime in August, so we can move forward with bringing that subject matter expert in to work with solutions architecture. They will need probably 3 to 6 months at a minimum to work with solutions architecture before they're then ready to present recommendations and findings to the council. So the sooner we select a firm, the sooner we will be able to take those next steps and present back to the public. But that there will be a period of time, assume at a minimum 6 months before we are presenting to the council and to the public again.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. O'Sullivan. I was going to get into that exact same question with our ordinance on introduction tonight, but we will rehash when we get there. Deputy Manager's report.
May I just interject for a second? Mayor, if I may?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor, sorry. I just wanted to quickly report that because of the vacancy that was filled tonight by appointment,
Yes.
that according to state statute, there has to be an election to fill that seat at the next general election, which is November 3rd. Therefore, we'll be having a special municipal election during the general election. Council packets for those looking to perhaps run for that seat are available in my office Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. And they would be due back on August 20th. So we'll be putting out some social media information on that as well. But I just wanted to inform the public now.
Thank you, Madam
Thank you.
Clerk. Thank you. Deputy Manager.
On my report, the Strands Engineering continues their work.
Pull your microphone. Thank you.
It should be on it. Strands Engineering is continuing their work. We did check with the state. When the bid goes out, even if the project is constructed in phases, it will be one contractor or one bid award. We cannot do multiple awards. The window project is complete. Solutions Architecture is waiting on final as-built plans from Panoramic Windows. We expect to have a closeout resolution on the July 20th agenda. We have a salary ordinance tonight for a wastewater treatment plant superintendent position. Our new prescription coverage went into effect on July 1st. There were, I believe, 3 questions that were brought to our attention around noon today. We have responded to all 3 of them, and Harmony RX was involved in each answer that was given. For personnel, as you may remember, the OPEIU step increases were split into 2 parts this year. They are being processed for a July 1st effective date. For community services and the pool, the fireworks was well attended. At the pool, I know the council authorized tables to be ordered. The order was placed in mid-May. We were told initially that the ship date, I believe it was for 26 tables. Is that correct? 26 tables. The ship date was going to be June 16th. There was a delay. As of June 30th, they had not yet shipped. Director Prisco checked in today. The last tables were being dipped and prepared, and they expect a ship date within the next few days. There was a delay in ordering them because we needed to wait until we had the capital money in order to place the order. We do apologize for the delay. The delay is mainly on the manufacturer side. For the EV charging that was mentioned as part of the community energy plan, we are looking to make ready 2 spots at the pool. They would be up by the pickleball courts. It would tie into a larger project where we're looking to possibly put lights there and a gate that requires power. PSE&G has some utility side cost assistance that could offset the cost of a new service and pole. Property maintenance is ongoing. There have been a few problem properties that we are working through. I know several residents have reached out about some property maintenance issues at Verona Flats. There was a issue getting in contact with someone who was not who was higher up than just being on site there. We did make contact with them on Friday. They are putting a plan together to address some of the sidewalk, tree, and garbage concerns there. Moving on to pool numbers. Miscellaneous revenue is strong. We've received $178,000 in miscellaneous revenue year to date. As a comparison, all of last year at 187,000, and total membership revenue is $795,000 for a total year-to-date revenue of $973,000. The anticipated revenue for this year, including $145,000 of fund balance, was $1,030,000. So we are moving in the right. The pool is in a good financial position, considering we still have about 8 weeks of operations to go. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Question, Councilman Shore?
Yes. Thank you very much, Deputy Town Manager. Just want to make a question and just a little bit of comment about the pool furniture. On March 9th, the Rec Committee provided a memo to the Town Council and to the administration about purchasing the pool furniture. And I know you apologize, and it's part of the budget. As part of that budget plan that you couldn't release the funds, and then you ordered them in late May. For next year, can we do better than that? Because on July 3rd this year at the pool, all right, all the tables were taken within 5 minutes. There are over 500 new members of the pool this year, and the financials are looking good, and the expenses are good. They're within line. But, there are members that are paying $1,000. There are family members that have been there for years paying over $700. We need to make sure that we have enough tables there. What can be done to make sure that when we're supposed to purchase more for next year, how can we get those tables ordered in January, February, March, so that this way on day one, those tables are there and we have new tables for our great community pool?
Councilman, if I could step in to answer that. So I know the council has previously requested operating and capital budgets be presented in one single effort to consolidate the discussion, to have a larger perspective of all the spending throughout the township. So we've tried to accomplish that in this past budget season. If the council is inclined to consider a bond ordinance outside of the typical budget season, a bond ordinance for pool furniture for 2027 can be introduced and adopted at the end of this calendar year with what remains in the capital reserve fund for the pool, if the council is willing to consider it outside of the typical budget season. That is up to the council's consideration, but if so, a bond ordinance can certainly be considered at the end of this calendar year.
I'm for it. I'm just saying.
Thank you.
But we can talk about it later.
All good? Concludes. Okay. Council reports. Councilman Roman.
Given the extensive reports this evening, I'll just be brief and just say thank you to everyone who helped put together the ribbon cutting for the new fields, as well as everyone that was involved in putting that project together. That was a lot of work to get there. The decision to basically rebuild that entire field obviously bore fruit, because it really, all the improvements are so much better. I just wanted to say thank you to all the people that stepped in to help sponsor this, and the volunteers and so on. It's something that's going to pay dividends to this community for decades to come. This is one of these long-term investments that future residents will benefit from. So thank you to everyone who had the vision and who executed this. That's all I have this evening.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman McGrath.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I too attended the ribbon cutting for Everett Field, and it is really beautiful. And to see how long it took and all the partners and the hard work to get there, it was really, even though the weather didn't hold out, it was really wonderful to be able to step on that field and see what a beautiful facility it is, and what our children and our recreation participants frankly deserve. I want to thank the VBSL organization in particular for being such an incredible partner on this, and for fundraising such a significant portion. I want to thank the state of New Jersey for their generous grant programs, which took significant amount of funds off the cost, in particular for the playground, and for the County of Essex for also chipping in through their Community Development Block Grant Program. I do want to thank the Township administration for swiftly developing a plan to address some safety issues near the playground. The playground looks beautiful. I do have to say, though, there are some small things in design that maybe should have been reconsidered. So it just reinforces how important it is to really preview playground designs with end users, with parents, to make sure that everything checks out. But with that said, I'm sure these adjustments will go just wonderful. And I want to thank the parents who reached out to the council with their concerns. I too attended the fireworks, and I want to thank our Office of our Recreation Department for putting on such a beautiful ceremony and show. I love the music. I love the reenactments. That was a lot of fun. Everyone looked like they were having a good time. And it was fortunate that we did it on the 1st, as other towns that had them closer to the 4th, unfortunately, had very challenging weather issues. I've been all around Essex County, so I just want to congratulate. There were fellow council people sworn in Newark, Irvington, Orange, and Belleville. I want to congratulate all of our fellow nonpartisan towns who had swearing-ins. I attended the Essex County Board of Commissioners Pride ceremony to honor individuals in the LGBTQ community who are doing great work. And I also got a chance to walk in the Montclair Parade. And I want to thank the Township of Montclair for hosting such a beautiful event. And that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Shore.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I also attended the Everett Field ribbon cutting, and I agree with the rest of my colleagues up here. I attended the fireworks celebration at Liberty as well. That was fantastic. And I also, to make it short, it was a great event, and I feel the same way as my other colleagues. I was at the pool all weekend. It was great to see so many people there. And what I really want to do in my report is, I don't have any committees right now, is I just wanted to tell the town what I've been doing since been appointed the last 2 weeks. So my first step was to review and analyze, and I've hit the ground running. I really have. And I've gone to all the different departments within Verona. I've been to the police department, Firehouse 1, Firehouse 2, Community Services and Rec Department, the Finance Department, talking things out with the CFO and going through our budget, going through our finances, analyzing what is ahead of us in 2027 and the rest of 2026. Public Works, Emergency Services, Buildings and Grounds, Rescue Squad, Water Utility. I've been all over this town over the last 2 weeks, just trying to get a sense of hitting the ground to make sure that we're really to really understand the issues that are going to take place going forward, and that I'm up to speed 110%. I look forward to working with the rest of the community, the residents, the administration, and I just want to say let's keep working at it and having some fun. So that's what I'm doing. So thank you very much. That's my report.
Thank you, Councilman Shaw. At this time, I'm going to open up public comment. Madam Clerk, can you read the compliance statement for public commenting?
Anyone from the public wishing to speak on any matter, if you're attending by Zoom, please raise your hand by pressing the raise hand button on your monitor. If you're dialing in by phone, press *9. And if you're attending in person, please raise your hand and be acknowledged before approaching the lectern. Once recognized, clearly state only your name and township of residence for the record. You are not required to provide your street address. However, if you do, please note that these meetings will be posted on the township's YouTube channel, and addresses will not be redacted for any purpose. You will have 4 minutes to address the council. There'll be no cross dialogue during the public portion, and after everyone wishing to speak has been heard, the council may address your comments and or questions.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I see no one on Zoom. I see no one in the room with that. Oh, there is a hand up. Mr. Petrangeli. Oh, we got one on Zoom next.
Paul Petrangeli, Verona, New Jersey. All right. I guess this was perfect time to come say this because you guys basically just said it all for me. This Everett Field that you guys built, It's nice. It's great that we did it, but it's locked at all times. No kids from our town can get on that field unless you play for VBSL. I drive past Everett when it was the old Everett every day on my way home from work, and I would see parents, moms and dads out there practicing with their kids, practicing because they probably got cut from VBSL because they only take about 12 kids per year. So you're opening that field for around 12 kids per age group. Football can't play there. Soccer can't play there. Lacrosse can't play there. Basketball can't play there. The field is only used for VBSL. So to me, why did we pay that bill? They should pay that bill. I was told not allowed to announce games inside the snack shack in the booth. My daughter had the first opening game. I was told VBSL members only in that booth. Now, to me, they donated it to the town. It's town booth. At Liberty, I'm allowed to go in there and announce games. Everybody is. My son actually announced my daughter's game. So it should be a town field. Everybody in town should be able to use it. It needs to stay unlocked. It doesn't get ruined by people using the field. It gets ruined because the DPW doesn't know how to rake it. I have been there in our first 2 rainstorms, and I have photo evidence that the way they rake the field in the rain is the same issue that ruined the first Everett. The sand is going to the outfield and washing that way. You need to train the DPW on how to grade a field. You need to train them how to paint a field. You can't just keep kids off of a field because you think it's going to get ruined. This is our field. We paid for it. We deserve to use it. Now, another thing is the crosswalk there to get across. Everything in this meeting was talked about safe walking, okay? You need to come up with something, a resolution or something to make that a safe corridor, because no one in the county is ever going to put a blinking crosswalk sign there. They're like $800,000 unless you guys come up with a resolution and make it a safe corridor. Nobody from Brookdale can cross that street and play at that field. That is not fair. That is not fair. You guys need to do better and look at the plans before you get all excited about the bells and whistles. The backstop behind home plate does not stop a ball. You put a 10-foot, 8-foot fence around that whole entire field, it looks like a jail, but it does not keep a ball inside. There are no nets. The backstop protects the snack shack. That's it. So to me, do better, open it up, and unlock it all. And you can also go to the away team's batting cage and unclip all the netting, because I did it for the home team on my first game, and it's still up on the away team. So there you go. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Patangeli. We have one on Zoom, Mr. Ryan.
Can you hear me now?
Mr. Ryan?
Oh, is our thing on? That was the phone last time. It's speaking.
Sorry, folks. Let me try something here to get rid of the echo.
Mr. Ryan?
Yeah.
Almost next to his hand there.
No, it's not.
Yeah, but the only one with the hand up is.
Yeah. Let me try something.
We're not hearing you, Mr. Ryan.
You jumped off, but he's on 3 times.
I see that.
Okay. I don't know what just happened.
That one went away, right? Yep.
No, we didn't.
You want to raise one of your other hands? I don't know where he went. There we go. One more try. You're muted, Kevin. There you go.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Well,
Sorry about the technical difficulties.
Let's see if you're.
You're on, everything's.
Kevin?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, so it's just.
Yeah.
So it's in the room. Yeah, so it's not routing to the speakers.
Okay. I don't know how to troubleshoot that.
Go ahead and turn your speakers down. That's not going to work. Got to be on the Zoom end, or on the presentation system end.
So it's on that mic?
Sorry
No,
about that.
It's not routing to the.
Yeah.
Put our microphones on. Right?
No, but normally it comes
But
out.
our microphones are coming out of the speaker, I'm saying, right?
Right, but
Okay.
the Zoom audio is not.
Sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
Does he want to email us his concern?
Wait a
Call my cell phone. I can phone up
minute.
too.
Why is that happening?
We've done.
Tell him to do that.
Yeah.
Go
I
ahead.
don't know how to
Mr. Ryan, would you mind calling my cell phone and I will
speak.
play your comments over the
I did that before.
microphone? Let me try calling him.
He's down to one. Does he have his hand up still? Or? Yeah.
So.
The speaker settings don't have any additional options.
Okay.
To test out. So
You ever put my office phone in? Oh, hello. So it's the opposite mouse.
I just told him to call your cell, Alex.
Yeah. All right. We'll troubleshoot some other time. Did you try reaching him? I tried calling him and nothing. No one answered. So
Not important, he said.
okay.
He's
All right.
good. He's signing off. All right. Sorry about that, Mr. Ryan. Okay. Moving on. No other hands. Okay. I'm going to close public comment and we're going to move forward. Hearing adoption of ordinance H1. Madam Clerk, can you please read the title of the ordinance? on second reading.
Amending Chapter 150 zoning of the Code of the Township, specifically Article 16, Administration and Enforcement, Section 16.1 through 16.8.
Thank you. Can someone move the ordinance?
So moved.
Moved by Councilwoman McGrath. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Shore. At this time, we have public hearing on this ordinance. Same rules apply. Anybody from the
I
public?
can't get the picture to come back.
Before we do that, could we maybe get a capsule summary of the effects of this ordinance?
Sure.
Mike.
From either the attorney or township manager or
So
deputy
that's
manager. Tell us a little bit about what, the why here. I may have some questions.
So this ordinance was just simply amending a current ordinance that was on the book for certificates, non-UCC certificates of continued occupancy, and clarifying who would be enforcing these. It falls under the zoning code currently, and clarifying that certain departments must go in to inspect to ensure the buildings are up to code, including construction, fire prevention, health, in order for occupants to begin operating out of a building.
Okay. I'll have comments after public comment.
Anybody from the public like to comment? Please raise your hand. Seeing none, close public comment. Councilman Roman.
Sure. Just curious about if there is any applicability to residential dwellings, if they are all, assumed to have a valid certificate of occupancy and use at this point in time. Does this only affect, multifamily and commercial? Basically, who does this affect and how?
This currently affects commercial properties.
Only commercial properties.
When homes are sold, if there's permits pulled, then they get certificates of occupancy that way. And fire prevention, when there's a new tenant in a residential unit, and I believe they have to do it for home sales as well. It's a very long acronym, but it's basically a compliance inspection on carbon monoxide, fire alarms, and some other items. I can get more information on that for you.
Okay. And are there any properties that are, significantly grandfathered or that predate certificates of occupancy in their entirety? And I know that I've run into this with commercial structures where there just has never been a CO since the building was built and existed before there were such a thing as a certificate of occupancy. I'm just curious if we have anything that falls under that, or, if someone just has an old building that they've owned forever and they sell it, what sort of process do they have to go through, or if they change a tenancy?
I would have to get more information for you on that.
Okay.
I would say a little bit on that would be if they don't change use, then I don't believe there is an inspection required. If it's a change of use, then absolutely have to go through the process of getting it.
Okay.
But I'm not 100% on that, but I think it's pretty.
Yeah, I might want to have. Is there any urgency about this, or
no?
I would like to just have a little sidebar just about enforcement and what the actual effect on property owners are.
So you're saying hold off on this?
If you don't mind, if we table it for until next meeting.
Okay.
There's
This
no
is
urgency.
second reading, so.
Yeah.
So he has
Do we
to
have-
make a motion.
Do we have to? I was going to say.
So I'll move to table.
Move to table. Do I have a second on that?
I'll second it.
The second by Councilwoman McGrath. All in favor? Does this roll call vote?
All in favor, say aye.
All five.
Aye.
All
Thank you,
opposed?
Okay.
Mr. Deputy Township Manager, if you want to set up a quick call or something like that, we can.
You can do zoning. Try to do zoning.
Okay.
Okay, moving along, ordinances on introduction. The next item on the agenda, on first reading, Madam Clerk, would you please read the title of the ordinance into the record? I-1.
An ordinance to amend Chapter 140 Vehicles and Traffic, Article 14 Metered and Permit Parking, Section 68, Paragraph B of the Code of the Township of Verona to include municipal lot number 3.
Would someone like to move this ordinance?
So moved.
Moved by Councilwoman McGrath. Would anybody second it? I will second it.
Repeat. I'm Sorry, would it be possible to get our video back up?
No.
No.
I mean, I'm sorry, I think Zoom's out altogether. I can't bring the video up either.
No, the people are still able to hear us. They just aren't able to see us.
There we go.
No, this is all.
You popped in one.
Okay, never mind. We'll try.
A brief explanation on this?
This is
Changes?
This is simply adding municipal lot 3 to the list of municipal lots in our code so that we could begin selling some permits there. This is not any type of reconstruction or anything like that.
Okay. And I just want to make this clear, correct me if I'm wrong. This does not mean this is Lakeside Avenue. Adding it is strictly a parking lot. The use is just so we can have cars parked there now, but future things could change on that property.
That's correct.
This is
It
not-
allows us to provide permits for overnight parking for commercial vehicles in its current state.
Got it. Okay. Thank you. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilman Shore,
Yes.
Councilwoman McGrath,
Yes.
Councilman Roman,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McAvoy,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor I-1 will be numbered 2026-27. It will be posted on the website according to law, and a public hearing will be held on July 20th.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Moving forward on the consent agenda, we have two sets of minutes from May 18th, 2026, June 22nd, 2026. Does anybody have any changes of the minutes? Councilwoman McGrath.
That's not why I was raising my
Okay.
hand,
I
but
did make that to change.
yes, I did submit a change
Any-
just to make sure that the minutes reflect that we pulled the Claridge resolution off we tabled it.
Yes, okay. So we have
Um,
changes to the minutes.
But I did want to pull something from consent agenda.
Okay, any other changes? Which one would you like to pull?
L11, please. Thank you.
And Mayor, Deputy Mayor, if I may also, I requested a correction in L7.
Yes.
Yes,
I
that
believe the
correction's
municipal
been made. Thank you.
So
It's for paving,
Right.
for municipal lot
Yep,
and civic
right.
center, not for police vehicle.
We called for the same thing.
I'd also like to pull one as well, L3.
Rules and regs.
It's
L3.
L2, Councilman.
L3, what's that?
L2, I believe,
Or is it
Councilman.
L2? I apologize.
Morningside Road?
Yes,
yeah.
yes. I want to pull that. I live on that street. so-
Okay. So, L2 and L11 are removed for now. Would anybody like to move the consent agenda?
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Roman. Would anybody second that?
Second.
Second by Councilman Shore. At this time, we would call for a public hearing on the consent agenda. Same rules apply. Seeing no one, we will close public. Any comments from council?
Deputy Mayor, if I don't know, we just clarified this would include M1 as well, the municipal clerk's raffle report.
Oh, yes.
So I will amend my motion to include M1.
That's part of the consent agenda,
I don't need to amend it then,
Thank you.
or clarify that my motion includes
Okay.
M1.
including M1, our quarter raffle and bingo report. Okay. Moved and seconded. No comments? Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilman Shore. I'm sorry, this is for L1, for everything else but L11 and L2.
Is this,
Yeah.
is the minutes included in this as well?
Yes.
He would.
Oh, we should pull the minutes.
Yeah. I apologize.
Revise the motion.
I will revise my motion to exclude both sets of minutes.
K1 and K2.
Thank you.
So this motion is for just L1, L3 through 10, and M1.
Yes.
So
Your
moved.
motion so moved, seconded by Councilman Shore again.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. No
Okay.
comments? Madam Clerk?
Councilman Shore.
Yes.
Councilwoman McGrath.
Yes.
Councilman Roman.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McAvoy.
Yes.
Mayor L1, L3 through L10 will be numbered 156 through 164.
Okay. I will make a motion to move the minutes K1 and K2. Second by Councilwoman McGrath. No comments. A vote. Roll call.
All right.
Just the minutes.
Right. So Councilman Shore,
Abstain.
Councilwoman McGrath,
Yes.
Councilman Roman,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McAvoy.
Yes.
Mayor, motion's approved. 3-0, one abstention.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Moving forward, L2. Would someone like to move L2?
So moved.
Moved by Councilwoman McGrath,
I'll second it.
seconded by Councilman Roman. Comments?
Yes, I have a question for the administration. So how is this different than what we approved 2 meetings ago? Is this a different grant just for Morningside?
There was a change in the scope of the grant. So historically, we've received a pretty steady amount from the Department of Transportation, and to bring the project more in line with what we receive, the project was amended to just cover Morningside Road, as that was the road where the pavement conditions were the worst. There were the smoke study showed issues, and there had been recent sanitary sewer line issues. I believe there was a few collapses that DPW had to repair. So this street was more of a priority from an engineering perspective.
Okay. Well, I will just make a comment that Hillside is really rough.
So this has to be said.
So, I mean, I agree from what's under the road on Morningside is like very pressing. And as we all know the analysis and what I'm hearing what you're saying. But Hillside is really a beat up road. So this is unfortunate that was taken out. But you're making these decisions based on cost.
It's based on cost to align the project with the grant, and it's based on the recommendations from both Boswell and our Public Works Department. It doesn't mean that Hillside and other roads cannot be included in future road improvements.
Mm-hmm.
They would just be self-funded through just local bond ordinances in the upcoming budget.
Okay. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor.
So with that, yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna recuse myself from this issue. I live on Morningside. I just don't want any conflict of interest.
Okay. Thank you.
Right.
Madam Clerk,
Okay.
roll.
Councilman Shore,
Recuse.
Councilwoman McGrath,
Yes.
Councilman Roman,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McAvoy.
Yes.
L2 would be numbered 165. It passes 3-0 with one recusal.
Okay. And L11, would someone like to move this?
Yes, I would.
Moved by Councilman Shore. Do I have a second? I will second this. Okay. Comments?
Yes. So my concern with this change is that it's very broad in terms of who gets to approve changing the hours of the pool. And as many of people know who have been watching our meetings and reading my summaries on the pool for many, many years, when the pool hours were scaled back a few years ago in order to save cost, this is something that is discussed frequently in the pool surveys. And when people are evaluating whether or not to join the pool, especially many of our working families where two parents are working, they're like calculating, okay, how much is the pool open when I'm not working? And so in particular, the Friday night close time is one of contention. And when we discussed this prior to this pool season, we discussed, no, we can't expand the hours because, again, we're controlling the cost. Now a bunch of special events are being planned, some of which are keeping the pool open for hours after it should be closed. And of course, by matter of procedure, those things were announced, without not following our pool rules. So we're doing this after the fact. I'm a little concerned that so many people can approve the change of the hours, because ultimately this governing body in our form of government, we only oversee one individual in the township, and that is the township manager. So the finances of this pool are dependent on keeping costs appropriate. But now we're authorizing through this very broad who can change the hours of the pool. It says pool management. I don't even know who that is at this point. The town manager, the deputy township manager, and the director of community services. That's a lot of people. So I would prefer this just said that the hours of the pool can be changed by the township manager. Township manager can take any of these individuals if they're saying, hey, we have to change the hours, but ultimately it is the township manager's responsibility to oversee the finances of this township. That's who he reports to us. We oversee his performance, and I would like to keep this tight. And so I'm making a recommendation to my peers that we just have the town manager be the one who can change the hours of the pool. And how he makes those decisions is up to him.
Okay. A quick question. It was my understanding that any special events we have up there are paid for events.
No.
So the one particular event that would be upcoming is the a World Cup watch party, which
Okay.
would be an event during the season available to both pool members or members of the community that might want to purchase a day pass or come as guest members.
So they pay to enter if you're not a pool member.
Correct.
It's on a weekend.
It's
so
on a weekend,
day
they can't
pass,
purchase a day pass.
but guest passes can be sold for that. But it's one of the items with the pool marketing committee was more events for members to attract or to give a greater benefit to them,
To the members themselves.
to the members themselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you, Councilwoman, you mentioned this decision is up to the pool manager also, but it just says here township manager
We were
and
emailed.
director.
I
of
emailed
community.
you.
There
Change.
was an update to it, but the intent of it was that everyone would agree to change the pool. That no one that yes, the township manager could overrule everyone, but that we'd have the sign off of, or that the head manager would be involved so that he could ensure staffing was available for a township event. That the director of community services is involved for the same reason, and that township administration is there for or involved from staffing and finances and the hours of the pool.
Ultimately, if I may, it's the same thing. What Councilwoman's saying, I think, is fine because it always stopped with the manager in any of that.
Yep.
So the amendment, unless it's a fine amendment.
I'm seeing here just it
You
says
have town manager.
and township manager and so as long as it goes through the town, it's going to go through the
So
township manager.
We'll just
no
remove the
matter
other
what.
people though in the resolution to make the Councilwoman's point.
Well,
This way it's tight and we know it just falls on the township
Yes.
manager. So it'll
I mean, I'd be fine here with manager and or director of community services along with manager.
why are we making the town manager if it's along with the manager anyway? The buck stops with him.
The
Yeah,
buck stops
I
with
think
him.
that's a fine suggestion. It doesn't
Mhm.
effectively change how it would
Yeah.
be chosen anyway.
And I think, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I think, as I'm hearing this discussion, from a practical point of view, this decision from an administration point of view is going to be collaborative. A lot of people are going to be involved. It's going to be thought through in advance. But ultimately, if we're changing the pool rules, ultimately it's the town manager who decides, okay, we are extending the hours of the pool for a special event. They're planning a movie night. They're planning a FIFA watch party. But again, every hour that they go past, our stated pool hours is additional cost. So there has to be a give and a take. But ultimately, it's the town manager who's responsible for the pool's finances. So,
Deputy Mayor.
Councilman Shaw.
Thank you. I think this is a good example of where town council, going forward, and this might be a good time to start, to step out and allow administration to start administrating the pool, the rules, And I'm not saying that this is just one step today. And I agree with Councilwoman McGrath on, okay, the town manager, that's fine. But this is a good step in the right direction of maybe September, October, of looking at the entire body. Our finances are looking good. We have a good financial model. But with that model, we need to start making changes towards membership having a little bit more say. Also, the administration having more say on pool rules, of the council being pulled out of trying to be day-to-day on the pool rules so that management can manage and have trust. So I think this is a good example of let's see what happens the rest of the year. We have this, we can pass this here today. And then in September, October, look at a whole list of things of maybe that we should not be part of anymore. And that allow administration and membership to be able to govern themselves and put rules in place that can be more flexible for our residents or actually for our membership going forward. So I view that.
I would tend to agree with the councilman. I think that it's a little much that we're doing this by legislation. Up until maybe 5 years ago, I think, we didn't actually pass the pool rules as a council action at all, if I remember correctly, until, the only reason we did it is because essentially they didn't really have have regulatory effect if we didn't do it. But the pool ran fine without us specifying the pool rules from the council dais. So I don't know. I tend to agree with allowing administrative discretion and us giving guidance to town management as to where we hear concerns from the community, rather than us having to go through the process of passing resolution or ordinance every time that we want to change the hours of the pool. I just feel like this is something that is within the administrators that we hire to manage this town to do, without us specifying it by, to this level of detail. Just my opinion.
Thank you. Councilwoman McGrath.
So I'll make a motion then to amend this resolution to just say that the hours subject to change for township events are approved by the township manager.
Since there's a motion on the floor, anyone second that?
I second.
Thank you.
Okay.
So we have to vote on.
We have to vote. I'm going to comment before we vote. I think no matter what, the manager is going to go through the other people that are written on here, the pool management, the deputy township manager possibly, but the director of community services, because they're involved with the pool. So I think including all of them in the title is a good thing, because he's going to collaborate with them anyway. So I don't know. Okay, I guess we got to vote on it. Go ahead, Councilman Shore. Last comment.
Yeah, I think the buck stops with the town manager, and this is a short-term thing. Let's see how it goes, and then come back to it in September and October, right? And then the director of community services can come up here with pool rules, what the budget's going to be like, and make those changes then. For short term, there's some great events that are going to happen. Let's make the change. Let's move forward. And I think that's the best way of going about it.
Okay. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
On the changing.
On the change, yeah, as revised.
Councilman Shore,
Yes.
Councilwoman McGrath,
Yes.
Councilman Roman,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McAvoy.
No.
All right, so the amendment passes 3-1.
Yes. Okay, moving forward, we have no addendums.
Well, you want to? Okay, never mind.
We have something else?
No, I'm sorry.
No addendums? Okay. Moving to new and unfinished business, a discussion on the salary ordinance for the supervisor or sewage plant operator.
Sure, this would be the establishing of a title that had been on previous salary ordinances. The title had dropped off in recent versions, but it's reestablishing the title for the purpose of a licensed operator for the sewer plant. It's generally in line with the salary that had previously been in effect for that title.
Okay. Any comments from council? You've advertised the position already,
So
correct?
we've advertised the position based on comments from the DEP that the licensed operator position should be filled on a full-time basis if the individual exists. We actually advertised. We received 3 candidates that we called in for interviews, and we do have qualified candidates that hold the license that we need and have the requisite experience to fill that position. So there is a line in the budget for the employee in that position. So it is a funded position. We will look to make a hire upon the adoption of this title.
Okay, and this is a full-time position if we looked at maybe a shared service for this?
Well, again, that's where the state has stepped in. We've been utilizing a professional consultant to serve in this role. The state has come back and said that for a sewer wastewater facility of our size, it should not be a part-time position. It should not be a consultant. It should be a full-time staff employee.
Thank you. Councilman Roman was first.
And would this result in a reduction in the consultant hours?
It will. So there will be a transitional period where the successful candidate would overlap with the existing consultant. The existing consultant would step back, and the new individual would take on that responsibility, and then eventually that consultant would no longer be needed.
Okay, Councilwoman McGrath.
Thank you. So when we see the ordinance, is it just a title, or is it also the salary? I'm sorry, and was that in part of our packet?
No.
No, it wasn't. Okay, so this is just in concept.
Correct.
Okay, is it just the position and a salary range that we're going to be looking at, or is it just a position?
It'll be a position and salary range. The range that was advertised at the beginning of June was $100,000 to $130,000.
Okay, so that's what we're going to see in the ordinance?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Done. Thank you. And next on council liaison appointments, being that Councilwoman Holland stepped down. Liaison to the MIAC committee and the Joint Flood Advisory Committee are open. Mr. Shore and I spoke since he spent numerous years on the rec committee. He is going to now be the liaison to the rec committee and MIAC. Correct, Mr. Shore?
That's
Councilman
correct.
Shore, and I will then take on Joint Flood Advisory Committee.
Okay. We're VMAC.
Oh,
No.
who had VMAC? Did Councilwoman Holland
Yes.
have VMAC? Okay, we will talk
We'll
about
just-
that and do it
okay,
at the
just
next
so you
meeting.
know.
Yep.
They only meet quarterly.
Yeah. All right. Last public comment. Anybody from the public, please raise your hand. Come to the lectern. Are you as a public member?
Okay. Good evening. Thank you. Since I'm here and I have the opportunity to speak, I would like to address Councilwoman McGrath's comments about the hours. Oh, I'm sorry, Pamela Prisco, Director of Community Services. Since I started this position in September, and when I first came here in October to present, it was basically brought from the surveys that members of the pool membership wanted to see events at the pool. So that's what I'm trying to do. And we had the Nerds event, which was a huge hit. That pool was open till 10 p.m. We're having movie night, hopefully tomorrow night. The Nerds played till 8:30 and the pool was open till 10. We have movie night tomorrow night. The movie cannot start until 8:30. It's movie night. And we're having the World Cup watch party, which we're watching 2 games, the 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. game. These were all planned, all with marketing committee, meeting with groups, and with Mr. O'Sullivan's permission. I didn't plan anything on my own. My pool managers, everyone that is seeing these events are thinking they're wonderful ideas. Have only heard great feedback. So tonight to see this back and forth and micromanaging of the hours for special events. I also want to plan an adult social, which is planned for the end of August for the adults. We used to have them all the time in the community when my parents lived here and when my kids were younger. So I'm trying to bring things back to make the pool a better place for our members, to bring our membership up. That's what I was told was needed for the Verona pool to thrive, which it is thriving right now, as we could tell our numbers are. So I'm kind of really disappointed, really upset that the micromanaging is continuing. And if you had an issue with the times, then instead of this meeting, it should have been just addressed to me directly. I'm not planning events. I'm just trying to make things better for our pool and our members. And I have only been receiving wonderful feedback that things have been happening. So I'm really I just had to say how I feel that I'm trying to do a really good job here. And the fact, if these events want to get canceled, I can cancel them tomorrow and explain to the public why they were canceled. So again, I'm just putting it out there that I'm trying to do my best. And by having the pool open 3 nights over, today was a rain out. So today's rain out is making up for World Cup being open till 11:30 on July 11th, if it doesn't rain. So again, I just wish, I want to do a good job here, but when these little things happen, it's really disheartening. I'm putting in 12 hours a day, almost 7 days a week. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Briscoe. Seeing no one else from the public, I'm going to close public. Closing comments, Councilwoman.
Thank you. I have to say, I'm really surprised. So again, with the misinterpretation of what went on right here, at the end of the day, what we were debating was, again, the line of appropriate chain of command. Excuse me, we do have rules and you know that. I have to admit, I'm really shocked. It is not appropriate to call out a council person directly. And also, I do want to just speak to something. We have a certain form of government, and our form of government is such that we communicate directly with the town manager. Okay? We actually don't go directly to staff. It is actually not appropriate. In fact, when past council members used to go directly to staff, that turned out to be a really big problem because it borderlines sometimes on harassment. At the end of the day, our job is to communicate directly with the town manager. As he was not in last week, I called Mr. Kraus and we had a conversation. It is actually not appropriate for council members to go directly to heads of departments with concerns or criticisms. Okay, at the end of the day, we have a set of pool rules. It's great that events are being planned. And I'm not saying events shouldn't be planned outside of normal hours. What I'm saying is, what is the chain of command by which I want those things approved? And the way the ordinance was written, because of a simple and or that was added, it made it seem like a lot of people could just change the hours of the pool. And I wanted to keep things directly with the town manager. You took it incredibly personally, and but that's not appropriate. From private
Talk to the group. Don't talk directly to one person.
Well, that's what she did in exchange, Deputy Mayor.
She didn't go directly at you.
Okay. At the end of the day, this was disheartening exchange. And I don't think anyone up here wants to micromanage the pool, but I will continue to advocate for the residents, especially the residents who choose not to join the pool, that they want more pool hours. And that was my larger point. And as long as I'm sitting here, I will continue to make that point to the administration. But with that said, it's great. Listen, I was at the Nerds concert. It was really a fun night. I stayed at 10 o'clock. But it is good that we're thinking of fun things to do, but I am concerned about the costs at the end of the day. And that was the point that I'm making. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Deputy Mayor.
Any other comments? Councilman Shore.
So I would like to say that I think the Director of Community Services is doing a really fantastic job. From what I've seen from the rec department, and from what I've seen at the pool, she spends a lot of time there as a member that goes very often.
Councilman, I know the employees spoke, but it's not proper for the council to critique good or bad employees without
Okay, I
providing
apologize.
notices.
Then I apologize for that.
Thank
No
you.
worries.
I just from what I heard just now, I just would like to just say that I think the pool in general is running pretty well. I love to see events, and the time to make changes will come in after the pool season is over, and we look forward to having that conversation so that this way all parties can feel comfortable with the finances and can feel comfortable with the pool rules and organization, so that going forward everything is taken care of. We've come such a long way with the pool in the last couple of years. I think that we owe it to ourselves just to keep going, keep our heads up, and keep smiling, because I think we're doing a good job. So, and I apologize for any kind of etiquette or protocol I just broke. Sorry.
Thank you, Councilman Shore. Councilman Roman.
Thank you. And I'll just, my philosophy on these matters is, for day-to-day operations of the township, I like to encourage agility and creativity. It's, if we trust the people that are administering the town and managing the township as a whole and its departments and so on, they can have leeway to react to situations and opportunities as they come up. If we have concerns about things, or we want to tamp something down or say, hey, we don't think this is a good idea, we always have the ability to reach out to the township manager. I do that if he's, it's a quick email if I see something that's going on and we have a call about it, and that's that. But I feel like we shouldn't hamstring the operation of the town on a day-to-day basis. We are a body that legislates, that sets policy, and that hires a group of administrators to professionally manage the town on behalf of that policy from the council. So I just like us to consider how far into the weeds we get on things. And I'll just kind of leave it at that there is this balance between trying to respond to resident feedback all the time and trying to put our own ideas into the mix, and trying to realize that we are essentially the board of a corporation that hires executives to lead on a day-to-day basis for it. And there is a balancing act between what level of direction we give and what we don't. So, and that's just where my head's at.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have anything for executive session?
Nothing.
We do not. Okay. Would anybody like to make a motion?
I will close the meeting.
There you go.
Second.
Motion to adjourn by Councilwoman McGrath, second by Councilman Shore. Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.